Hey grade 7s, welcome to your mathematics lesson today, brought to you by WorksheetCloud. Email address on the screen is for you to use. Ask any questions that you would like answered from your maths curriculum, and hopefully I can help you a little bit more. Today we are looking at angles in triangles and quadrilaterals, and then we have our activities on either side of that main theme. So we're sticking with the angle, geometry, shape and space theme, but let's get into our warm-up before we do anything else. Okay, so there are a whole bunch of flowers. Work out the value of each flower using your math skills, and then let me know what the question mark is at the end. I did trial and error in this activity. It took me more than one go to figure it out. I tried 7 plus 1 equals 8. Then I used 7 at the top, and I used that 1 again. So those flowers must be 4 plus 4, which is 8, equals 7 plus 1. So far so good. I then went and looked. I just went and filled in what else I had given. So I said the blue flower was 7. And I knew the green one was 1, so that meant that the rows had to be 6. So 7 minus 6 is 1. Then on this line I would have had 6 divided by 1 equals 6, okay, and that holds true, okay. And then I needed to use the numbers at the bottom, so I had 7 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 6. Okay, and remember the order of a multiplication sum doesn't matter. You order it however you see fit, whatever makes it easier for you. When you multiply those four numbers together, you get 168. Okay, you could have started on this middle line with 5 plus 3. Okay, and then you would have worked through 5 plus 3, but once you had got down to the fourth line, you would have come unstuck and you would have had to start again. So if that was you and you started again and you ended up at the right place, that's great work. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay. For maths questions for today, some quite wordy ones. So 30 Rand 52 was received in change from 100 Rand after buying 6 plants. Find out the average cost of a plant. 6% of a 4-meter roll of ribbon was used. How many centimeters was that? 300 multiplied by 27. Looking for you to use a particular strategy instead of doing a long multiplication sum. Question 4, a packet of peas has a mass of 375 grams. Find the mass in kilograms of 12 packets. And question 5, a book was purchased for 240 Rand and sold at a profit of 35%. What was the selling price? Off you go. You need to work out what is the cost involved. Okay, so I first need to subtract the 30 Rand and 52 cents from the 100 Rand. Okay, and that's going to give me 69 Rand 48. Okay. And now I need to divide that 69 Rand 48 by 6. Okay. Now we're dividing by a whole number. Okay, so that means you can do a straightforward short division question. All right, and we know 6 goes into 6 once, into 9 once. Keep the comma. We know that there's 3 left over. So 6 into 34 goes 5 times with 4 left over, and 6 into 48 goes 8 times. So your average price per plant was 11 Rand 58. Okay. There could have been another way for you to do that division sum. I suppose you could have halved both numbers and then divided by 3. But this option is available to you. It's short division, so we can use the short method of division to get to the answer quite comfortably. Question 2, 6% of a 4-meter roll of ribbon was used. How many centimeters was that? So how many centimeters is 6% of 4 meters? So you can use 6% of 4 meters, or you can change the 4 meters into 400 centimeters. Okay. And then to find 1%, we divide by 100. So it's 4. So that means 6% will be 24, because 4 times 6 is 24. Alternatively, 6 over 100 times 400 over 1. 100 goes into 100 once and into 400 4 times. And there you've got 6 times 4 as your numerators, and that also gives you 24. Had you converted 6 over 100 to 3/50ths, you would have still got the answer of 24. Okay. Question 3 is 300 multiplied by 27. Okay, so here I said without using a long multiplication method, could you recognize that 27 times 3 equals 81? Okay, and then 81 multiplied by the 100 equals 8,100. Okay, so here we've multiplied by 3 and then by 100, which is the same as multiplying by 300. Okay, okay, cool. Question 4. A packet of peas has a mass of 375 grams. What is the mass of 12 of them? Okay, and you can do this in a long multiplication method. You could go 375 times 10 is 3,750, plus 375 times 2, which is 750, and then add them together, which is 4,500 grams, or 4.5 kilograms. Okay, perhaps you didn't do that. Perhaps you said, okay, let's use doubling and halving. Okay, so the one number I can double 375 to 750 and half 12 to 6. Now I've got a short multiplication question. And then if I do that sum, 700 times 6 is 4,200, 50 times 6 is 300, add them together, and there is my 4,500 grams, or 4,5 kilograms. Okay guys, so I like to show you as many methods as possible. I'm sure you've realized that by now, because I just believe there's more than one way to do things, and it's everyone's preference is different. Okay, and then question 5, a book was purchased for 240 Rand, okay, and sold at a profit of 35%. How much was the book sold for? So the first thing I must do is I must work out how much that profit is. 35% of 240, I can say 10% equals 24. So that means 30% is 24 times 3, which is 72. If 10% is 12, 5% must equal 12. Sorry, if 10% is 24, then 5% equals 12. Sorry about that. Then 30% and 5% is your 35%. And my 72 and my 12 gives me 84 Rand. So I'm making a profit of 84 Rand on this book. That doesn't mean I sold it for 84 Rand. I must now go add the 84 to the 240. Okay, and that gives you a grand total of 324 South African Rand. Okay, so cool. Well done if you work through those mental maths questions and remember those principles. Okay, so I would like you to continue looking for angles. Okay, I think it's a good thing to practice, and good habits to develop, to continually revise past principles. So I'll give you a clue. You're looking for corresponding, alternate, supplementary co-interior angles that add up to 180, vertically opposites, angles on a straight line, angles in a triangle add up to 180. So have a look at those reasons and see if you can find, I want you to find every single angle in each of the diagrams. Right, off you go. Just enlarge that first diagram for you, just so we can see it a little bit better. So remember, you might have figured out these angles in a different order to what I worked them out. Let's see if we agree, and remember that your reasons are also going to vary or differ, but let's see if I can cover most of them. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to look at is these co-interior angles here. Okay, and they need to add up to 180. So 180 minus 84 is going to be 96. Okay, and that's just co-interior and supplementary. They add up to 180. Then I'm going to have a look at the angle next to it, which should also be added to 96 to get to 180 because they are angles on a straight line. Okay, so that there would be your straight line angle. Okay, those two angles together. So that means that's going to be 96 again because that's also on a straight line. Okay, you could have said corresponding. There's an upside down F, so those two are equal. So that just proves that that's 84. I could have also gone the other way and said, well, there's also an F there, so those two angles would be equal, which they are. Okay, so there are a few ways that you could have figured that out. I'm going to look at a alternate angle next. There's a Z, so that means that's angle is 84. Okay, and I could also look at alternate the other way if I wanted to, so that's also going to be 96. Okay, then you know that 84 and 96 should be supplementary, which they are because they're co-interior as well. Then this angle is going to be 84. Again, you could have said it's on a straight line with 96, or you could have said the this, if you can see that drawing there, slightly the corresponding. So again, multiple reasons, and then the only one we need to work out is this one. And you know that 70 and 84 is 154. And you know that those three angles must be 180 because they're on a straight line. So 180 minus 54 is 26. Okay, so that's that problem. Let me just create some space here for the second one. Okay, and second one similar. You needed to work out all the angles. Let's just put that one away and bring this one down. Okay, there we go. So we'll start off with this angle here. Okay, and that I'm just going to use 180 minus 130 is 50 degrees. Okay, I'm going to then look at an alternate angle. So here would be your Z. Okay, so I know that that's 47. Okay, if that's 47, then the angle next to it that's on a straight line is going to be 133. Okay, and if I wanted to check, 133 and 47 are co-interior and supplementary, and they are. Okay, I'm then going to have a look at another alternate angle, okay, which is that one, and 50. So yes, that's going to be 50. Okay, now I can either use some of the angles of the triangle to work out the missing angle in that triangle, that one there. So 50 and 47 is 97. Okay, so that means that angle needs to be 83. Okay, and let's just write 83 up there and draw an arrow to it. Okay, you can also check that by saying this 50, this 83, and this 47, they need to add up to 180 because all three of those angles form a straight line. and 50, 83, and 47 does equal 180, so it's all good there. Right, then this angle over here, I'm going to have to create some space here. Okay, is going to be 130, and that's because of a straight line with 50, or we could have said, okay, well, there's also a corresponding angle. There are my F's, so 130 and 130, and then the angle next to it, that one there, is going to be 50, vertically opposite, straight line with 130. So those could have been your reasons. And then that's also going to be 50. It's vertically opposite. That's going to be 130. This whole line here is going to be 180. And I think that pretty much deals with each angle. Okay, so again, the order doesn't matter. As long as your reasons are correct, make sense, appropriate, and that you make sure your lines are parallel, then yeah, we should be in a good place. Okay, so I just want to chat through angles and triangles quickly. And again, this is a bit of a recap from your grade 6 year. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to say to you, look, you look in the pink triangle. I've told you that angles in a triangle always add up to 180, or rather I've reminded you. I would like you to go work out all the missing angles from A to F, please. Of adding up and taking away. Okay, so 88 and 45, that makes 133. So how much left? 280, and that's going to be 47. Then if I add 47, 45 and 88, then I should get back to my 180. So 40, 40 and 80 is 160. And 5, 8 and 7 is 20. So put them together, you get your 180. Here, 66 and 43 make 109. So that means that is 71. Okay, because you need to add up to make 180. Here on C, 35 and 26 makes up 61. So that X is going to be 119. Okay, always check your work, boys. Okay, very, very important. And then for C, D, and E, okay, it doesn't matter if you have decimals. Okay, for D, 72 and a half and 53. So there are your two angles there. Right, add them together. Remember, you can always work it out. So write it down. Okay, always write it down to make sure that you don't make any errors. Okay, and I still make a lot of errors when I don't write down. So I would encourage you guys to do the same. Okay, so that's what I have. How much left? How much left? Okay, and that's going to be 54,4. So D is 54,4. If I add 126 and 54,4, do I get to 180? Yes, I do. Okay. For the second question, again, I need to work with decimals. So that's 127,9, and I put that with 30,4. 158,3, that's what I've got. Okay, how much left to 180? I know that's going to be 21,7. Okay, so I'll just subtract from 180. And then for the last one, F is 43,8, and add that to 47,6. 8 and 6 is 14, carry the 1. Okay, carry again. So there I've got my 91,4. All right, so how much left to 180 is going to be 88,6. Okay, so if I add 88,6 to 91,4, I get my 180. Okay, so that's your angles in a triangle adding up to 180. All right, and that takes us on to angles in quadrilaterals. So what do the angles in a quadrilateral add up to? Well, they add up to 360. All quadrilaterals, all four-sided shapes. Okay, so, and the reason behind that is, as you can see on the picture on your screen, I can divide any quadrilateral up into two triangles. We know that each triangle, the angles add up to 180. So if I've got two triangles, it must be 180 plus 180. 180 times 2 is equal to 360. So that's the reasons behind angles in quadrilaterals adding up to 180. Okay, so I would like you to go and figure out the size of the missing angles. Figure out the value of the symbols in the multiplication table, and let's see how you guys get on. How many different ways can you get to the answer of 24? I'd love to hear about some challenges, or someone who's made somebody else wash the dishes or sweep the house or something like that, or pick up the leaves. It's autumn after all. There are loads of leaves lying around. Yeah, share those stories with us. We would really appreciate it. Okay, guys, thanks very much for watching today. Just a reminder of the email address at the bottom of your screen to send me any questions, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All the best.